This is the story of a person who has managed to work a miracle and defeat a seemingly unvanquishable foe. Is it? I suppose we will see. New game.
So, it's all about trickery to you? Wherever have you come from?
No.
Alright, now Pathologic isn't popping up. Come on, I believe in you. Alright, now, so the game starts with your choice of protagonists. But for this route, we're going to play the Bachelor. So, the history of humanity witnessed a number of catastrophes that have demonstrated without a shadow of a doubt the pettiness of human achievement and the triumphs of the invincible evil. Outbreaks of infectious diseases that have from time to time wiped towns and cities off the map are undoubtedly among those. However smart and virtuous, the people caught up in those destructive events have repeatedly come to the conclusion that it's no use trying to fight the circumstances. The best you can do is bite the bullet and cope with your losses. This is the story of a person who has managed to work a miracle and defeat a seemingly unvanquishable foe. Is it? I suppose we will see.
Daniil Dankovsky, a Bachelor of Medicine, was brought here by circumstances most unfortunate. Dankovsky's life work, his theory challenging the existing notions of human mortality, is being harshly persecuted by the powers that be.
I'm going to be quiet while the
Suddenly,
narration is
a
happening.
letter arrives from a colleague suggesting that there is previous undiscovered evidence which may support Dankovsky's claims. There is a settlement, the letter says, ruled by an extraordinary man who may well be seen as objective proof of Dankovsky's daring hypothesis. Grasping at straws of hope, Dankovsky decides to follow what he believes to be the sign of divine providence. Without further ado, he sets off for the settlement.
Sign of divine
Late
providence.
at night, Bachelor arrives in the town. As he seeks room and board, he gets to know a girl called Eva Yan and stays at her place till dawn.
My favorite, my girl, my favorite Pathologic character. Get ominous views of some of our notable characters in full glorious, this really was made in 2005 character models and textures. But I think there's like a lot of visual charm in Pathologic, even though it is a very ugly game. It also it's like so intentionally designed, and like especially like a lot of the interiors and character models, like the fabric and the design of like the world is really intentional and like really wild and like colorful in ways that you don't expect, like especially like the Canes, who are the characters that the family that Dankovsky like works with a lot. Like the interior of their house is like a riot of like color and like patterns. And here's Eva. Like, I'm just really like fascinated by the juxtaposition of like ugliness and beauty, or sort of like harshness and beauty. But anyway, here's our mission statement. As of today, my mission remains obscure. The examination of Simon Kane, who's rumored to be a man of incredible longevity, may shake the foundation of modern thanatology and challenge the existent notions of death itself. However, even if this undying Leviathan proves to be more than a fairy tale, the mere confirmation of his existence won't suffice to prevent the powers that be from shutting our laboratory down. I need to figure out the most fruitful approach. Simon is a well-respected man, and if he mistakes my interest for effrontery, it would be nigh impossible to convince him to help me break new ground in the field of human vitality. So, Daniil's been told that there's an immortal man in this town. He's staked his entire career on finding him today. Let's see how it shakes out for him. So we start out in the Stillwater, which is Eva Yan's house and kind of our base of operations for the foreseeable future. And I always have a hell of a time finding the door in the Stillwater. How do I leave? There we go. Alright, see, look at these interiors. They're like, the textures are kind of bad, a lot of them, but there's so much like this is fucking designed. But Death Doctor off to do Death Doctor things. What could possibly go wrong? Truly. Daniil's just like, oh, and Daniil's main character motivation is he's got no idea what's going on. He's really not sure about most things, but he wants to defeat death. Just completely.
I had a feeling you would come.
Did the sounds from outside wake you up? There was a terrible groan, and then something snapped loudly. Me too, once I was stuck up there for 10 minutes. It's so confusing! The first time I streamed just like the first like 15 minutes of this game, and I was like, I haven't like opened Pathologic Classic in like probably like a year, and I was like, oh no, like I really am not going to be able to leave Dankovsky's bedroom. Alright, so, you can be really rude, but I really like Eva, okay. So I'm not going to be. I'm going to choose the least rude options to her. I fell asleep so quickly I didn't even notice. It's like I fainted.
No.
So what sounds are you talking about? I think there are strangers in the backyard, by the pond. They're unlikely to be planning mischief, but I have a bad feeling about this. I'm afraid to go out there. I hope they go away soon and stop disturbing our sleep. I'd like to thank you for your hospitality, for board and bed. I sincerely hope you have everything you need, because I'm very happy to have you here. Daniil is August. I'm so excited that you also like Pathologic. How do you know who I am? How do you know who I am? Glory is the messenger riding ahead of man. A celebrity from the capital. Bachelor Dankovsky, the founder of Fanatica. The man who challenges death. Of course we've heard about you. I have to go, Eva. Tell me where Simon Kane lives. It's like, please. I know, please. Direct I know action. Not for me. This glory is undeserved yet. But I hope that getting to know your ruler will give me a chance to live up to the expectations. Oh, is it, okay. Huh. I don't know why it announced that I was live again. Did I go out for a moment? We'll see. Death. So that's the enemy you've chosen for yourself. Isn't it hard? I don't think anyone has managed to defeat that evil yet. So one thing that I was really surprised by is when I first played this game, I was like, oh, Dankovsky's... There's a lot of things in this game that are sort of surreal, and there's a lot of things in this game that are, like, pretty clear analogs to, like, real events, or, like, real, like, a lot of the sort of central philosophical arguments or points are, like, things that can be, like, very analogous to, like, things in real life. Especially, like, playing this game again. Like, I played it... First time I played Pathologic 2 was the one I played through all the way the first time. I played it right before, like, lockdown, and then I played it again right in the middle of, like, the May 2020, I played it with to open my roommate, and then again I played it like in January 2021 with a friend of mine. And like each time it was like it hit in like very different ways, and I won't like get to that piece now laying out, but like chill. But points and arguing about or like as chill as Pathologic can be, but like. Yeah, like there's a lot that hit a lot closer to home, and a lot of things. But the thing about Dankovsky's motivation is that, and I'm just gonna nerd about this, but like the thing about Dankovsky's motivation. So hard. is that
violent. He's trying.
I thought it was like kind of
He
strange
really gets the
how
rawest end of
disconnected
the
it is, because
deal
he's
in
like
everything.
he
all
wants
the
to defeat
time.
death. Like he wants to stop anyone from dying. He wants to destroy like the
If you were
concept
coming
of
home
death.
and your
And I was like,
hometown
that's out there until I read about Russian
you stepped off the train.
cosmism, I
people
think.
tried to kill you
I'm
immediately.
gonna
and your
like
dad had
butcher
just died,
this, but
like,
which is basically a philosophy
Come on
that
now.
I think emerged in like the 1920s, maybe. That
Setup.
basically like
It's all a
is like
setup
death
for
is the
war.
biggest injustice. Like death is an injustice, and like
So,
it is like morally reprehensible.
you
that we're
haven't,
not. We haven't like solved
exposed
death.
to
It's like
Pathologic
our
before, so
moral
part of
imperative to
the-
solve death and to
part of the
bring
setup
everyone
who's
who's ever
ever
lived
lived
like
back
back
to
to
life.
life.
choose.
Those were
which
like
is
the three protagonists.
kind of,
and
they all have.
which was like an
all
I don't
healers
know
of
that
some
much about it. I
kind.
think I read like
So
one
Daniil's a
article or two,
doctor
but it's like
and
kind of puts
Artemis
into
a
perspective the different like
Um,
aspects of
Who does adopt every
philosophy and like
single
Russian
child
philosophy
finding
that
on the
the
street.
protagonists
Yeah.
in this game
Artemis,
embody, or like
a
voice
healer or like a
sometimes,
in the line
anyway,
to be a healer,
which
of
is
the
a very
local
long-winded way
indigenous
of
people
continuing this dialogue.
this community
Millions of
in-
doctors
in the
defeated on
steppe,
singular
and
occasions, but
Clara
my enemy is more
is-
fearsome. It is
crawls
death
out of the
itself rather than a
ground
single case of
in-
death, with no memory of
I
anything previous
don't
to
understand.
the beginning of the game, and
calls
I can
it-
barely
immediately calls
understand it
herself a
myself.
saint.
Could
So,
death only seem inevitable
sort of
to
like
us, but in reality,
scientific
be nothing more
healing,
than a whim of like than a whim
like
of the will that had
the
shaped this
sort
world?
of like
That is the question. So where's the key to my
tradition
victory? And pseudo magic and like herb.
Dankovsky aims so high, it's admirable.
Faith magic.
As admirable as it's it's as admirable as it's ridiculous. Yeah. Dankovsky really like he's kind of like an ends justify the means
type of guy, which really like leads him astray, but also like he really like so genuinely does like want to help. That's really cool. I love when
Oops,
games
did I
can be
just-
improved by understanding niche
Oops.
philosophical debates. Me too. That's my favorite
I
kind of
just,
game.
that's
That's why I like
exited the
Pathologic like just like took
if I
like
can
such a
skip this.
hold of my mind. Found the biggest
My bad,
enemy
I
he could
didn't
possibly
know that
conquer, and then
exists.
just went at it. Yep. Full steam ahead.
just leave the theater.
It's not far. The Canes live at the Crucible.
Literally
on Bridge
can, I
Square.
didn't know that.
But could I
Okay,
please offer you
so
a piece of
here's
advice?
our potential
Fine.
protagonist.
No advice. No, I'm gonna be
is
nice
my
to you.
camera
Go on.
Think
Simon
it
has two younger brothers. The eldest of the two, Georgie, is called the judge by the
what's going
locals.
on there.
Visit him first. He isn't asleep. He'll teach you how to speak with Simon. The youngest of the three is Victor. His daughter Maria also
Oh, I probably
wanted
bumped
to
it.
see you. It's probably important.
Oops, I have a slightly.
Was it
scuffed
she who
setup
knew about my
here.
arrival beforehand? Yes. She told me about it privately. Talking to her is no simple task. Maria is the kind of person she puts on airs, but that's just how the Canes are. It was Maria who told me
restart
she
the
would help you
stream.
defeat death.
I'll be right back.
That's the precise wording.
Hi,
What a
Alex.
coincidence.
I'll be
love,
right back. I
sure,
just have
it's
to
sure it's
restart
just a
or else,
coincidence.
I think my camera
All
will
right.
stay
Thank you for your
frozen like
advice. Go, and I'll prepare everything for your return. Do come back after you speak to the Canes. They'll probably do a lot of things that will puzzle you and put you on guard. I will have some advice that may be of help to you, if you need it. Okay, I'll come back. And here's our map, which you can see the whole of the town. But Eva has marked off. The mysterious Maria, Victor Kane's daughter, has been expecting my arrival for several days. She seems to know more about me than I do. Interesting. So I want to go over, and we're starting over here, which is at Eva's house. Never heard of Pathologic before, but it seems really interesting. Yeah, it's like a weird little. It's from an indie developer called Ice Pick Lodge, and they basically like built the engine themselves out of like the one for this one at least, out of like toothpicks and bubble gum, which is it's kind of janky, but has a lot of love in it. All the characters have the concept art for the game as paintings in their house. Right, out into the world we go. Yes, highly recommend. And Pathologic 2 is kind of a better experience. I think I like the story of the classic version more, but Pathologic 2 is definitely a more coherent and like easier route into it, because Pathologic Classic is kind of janky and very hard. Halt. I'm going to have to teach you about the technicalities of the setting, the time, and the place. It's non-essential, but that's how it is. An actor has to be prepared before he goes on stage, or else he'll fall down the aisle or stumble upon the prompt box. That would look mighty silly, wouldn't you agree? Who are you? An actor in a tragic mime show. That's unimportant. Will you listen to me or not? I am listening. Time flies by. It can't be stopped or turned back. Nights follow days, which are then followed by nights. Things happen without any regard for whether you're there to witness them. Don't expect anyone to wait for you. Most events can be missed. And so it would make sense for you to visit the places that you care about regularly. You'll find the people that will play major roles in your fate there. They stand out from the common folk. The rest are just a crowd shot, a background, a bunch of extras. As it has always been. Indeed. Still, it's best to avoid hasty judgment. It's a paradox, you see. Don't try to care too much for the lies of these bound-to-stand-out people. And don't be too dismissive of the silent crowd. Both extremes will end in tragedy. Why is that? This world cares for your reputation, a fine and crucial instrument. Your reputation changes the world you see, for it is a mirror, wouldn't you agree? And so a bad reputation can get you into a lot of trouble. For example? Oh, need I describe? You've got a vivid imagination. Everything changes, from mystical aspects to mundane things like the people you need treating you badly. How many enemies you've got, how high the prices rise, how bad your dreams are. Lots of things. A sorry prospect. So how do I maintain my reputation? Really? How is that even a question? Same as anywhere. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not betray, do not steal, do not covet, do not be an asshole, do not get caught. The rules are the same everywhere. A truly selfless deed, like risking something for thy neighbor, or even a person who lives quite far away, can help in a dire situation. Thank you, Exist, for the follow. Hello. I see. For example, well, if you're Artemy Burak, the Bachelor is like, dankovsky's route is like easy mode, because everyone starts out liking him, because he's the celebrity from out of town who's got no fucking idea what's going on. And, Artemy starts out the game stabbed, bleeding to death, and on the hook for just doing murder. And also as a possible patricide. So, Artemy's route is significantly harder. Yeah, Pathologic 2 has lots and lots of Artemy. Yeah, no, Pathologic 2, instead of having the 3 characters you can pick between, at least right now it only has Artemy, but like Artemy's plotline is much more fleshed out, and like, in the Pathologic Classic, the Bachelor route, which is the one they're playing, dankovsky's storyline is the most sort of fleshed out, the one that got the most attention, and in 2 it's Artemy's, and Artemy's story is like really amazing. Like, I think it's a much more coherent narrative into which I might play on here at some point, but really good for you then. As for me, I can't see anything in this mask. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, don't get too worked up about human lives, and don't put too much stock into others' words, mine included. He who trusts everyone is asking to be deceived. Yet he who trusts no one is deluded. I know that from experience. Yes. So we've got these strange little men hanging out and giving us the tutorial, basically. Venerable Bachelor, please be so kind as to linger for a moment. This conversation won't take too much of your time, especially since time stops during dialogues. Thank God, because we've got a lot of dialogue, at least during the important ones. And our dialogue is extremely important. You need to know how to play, after all, don't you? Play? What are you talking about, Mask Man? I'm neither gambler nor actor. Of course you aren't. You're a living, breathing man, as is evident from your conditions and statuses. You experience hunger, thirst, and fatigue. You suffer from pain, wounds, and diseases. You're so lifelike. You have to eat, drink, sleep, and rest. And to make mistakes. The latter being the most definite proof of my human nature, wouldn't you agree? If I may, I would like to point out just how important it is to keep an eye on your condition. If you get dizzy or unnaturally sluggish, do have that checked up. Vital processes tend to run faster during emergencies than in everyday life. I know a person who died of stress but was diagnosed with starvation. Me after an 8-hour shift. It happens, I can testify that as a doctor. Need I remind a wise man like you of the fact that hunger is sated with food? Food can be found in shops, and shops can be found in ordinary houses that are marked with specific signs. Sleep, however, is more complicated. People only sleep in beds, and only in private residences around here. I'm sorry, but that's just how our world is. Yes, the world is unjust. I'm quite silly if you forgive me for saying so. Speaking of commerce, different shops sell different items at different prices. Make sure you don't get cheated. People can be quite brazen around here. You can also barter with folk out in the street. Some things may be nothing more than trinkets to you, but others would be willing to part with their life's blood for them. You're a bore, mate. Let me through. I'm gonna be an asshole, so stop getting tutorialized at. So this is town on Gorkon. Just the Gorkon is the name of the river. And this is our it's a survival horror game, basically, with very light on the horror, but so time is always running, and we have our inventory, and our clock, and basically from the moment that the game starts, it's a scramble to get everything done before each day ends, and you have to do a certain number of tasks and fulfill plots. Or else and if you don't fulfill your tasks for the day, there are bad consequences. We'll start out seeing Simon, who's over here. You can see the shadow of the polyhedron there. The draw distance is very, very short. They've obscured it with all this fog, though. Yeah, there's so much about free will. There's so much, like what we're allowed to do and what we aren't.
I'm deadly tired.
Most venerable doctor, it is with great impatience that we have been expecting you. This guy looks like a warlock. Straight up court wizard vibes in here. You need not delve into the minutiae of your business with us, since our family is well acquainted with your scholarly work. We are also quite aware of the difficulties you are experiencing, and well prepared to do our utmost to support you. It hurts me all the more to be the one to inform you that Simon, my consanguineous brother, my consanguineous brother, the creator, keeper, and embodiment of all that surrounds us, has been murdered. Damn it! Why did that have to happen just before I arrived? Right as I found the chance to prevail. Dankovsky's like, you don't understand how this will affect my research, my thesis. It's falling apart. Sorry that your brother's just been murdered or something, but... One of my favorite things about Patho 2 is that every single death you have adds to the plot and leads to really fun meta conversations. Yeah, that's the thing that I think, one of my favorite improvements from Pathologic 1 to 2 is in Pathologic 1, all of your characters, like basically all the named characters you can interact with can die, but they happen in kind of prescribed ways, and it doesn't, it just kind of shuts things off from the plot. But in Pathologic 2, all of the characters can die at any point, and the route that the story takes, like, sort of changes and shifts, depending, and you can, like, talk to them in this kind of, like, pseudo... You can basically like, go to the lobby of the theater that the game is like taking place in, kind of, and talk to them, leaving after curtain call, and, like chatting with the cast. It's really cool. Precisely. Why did it have to happen just before your arrival? Are you asking yourself the same question? I hope you don't see any connection between my arrival and the murder. No, Dankovsky, you're not the one that everyone thinks is a murderer. Yet. In fact, I do see a connection. However, do not mistake it for a thought. That it was you who murdered him. Well, at least that's something. Isidore has done more than he thinks. I have a lingering feeling that time itself is using uncontestable powers to further its own intentions. What do you think? I think that is a absolutely incomprehensible statement. I'm no fatalist. It could be that my mind is clouded by sorrow, but I cannot escape the feeling that your arrival was no coincidence. Your choice was made for you, my dear doctor. Let us not blame fate for it. Isidore wrote to you without making us aware. You took a risk that could have displeased our family. Really. Even though we were uncertain of when you would arrive, my brother was looking forward to meeting you. The tragedy may have been the consequence of the actions he took to prepare for your arrival. Someone has taken a powerful piece from the chessboard, a piece upon which your position here depended. It is doubly regrettable that Simon was playing on your side. So you presume the queen knew of the blow and sacrificed itself for the pawn? But why? Dankovsky gets up first thing in the morning and is like, hello, I am gonna have I'm just gonna speak in incomprehensible metaphors. Hi, Moth! Hello! So, we are currently in the shoes of the most confused and, rather rude, doctor from out of town, and our mission is to defeat death, and, currently we were told that there was an immortal man in the town, a man who had already defeated death, and we arrived and found out that he was murdered. So, we're having a fun step vacation. This is the fun step vacation version. The Canes, they might be the least overt assholes of the ruling families, but damn are they good at making no sense. Yes, they are. So, it's interesting. Yeah, they really are, yeah, I was just like tallying the asshole tally in my head of which of the families are responsible for what. The whole town is governed by 3 ruling families, and they kind of, the Canes are one of them. My sincerest condolences to you. Is there anything I can do to help? Do you want to help us, Doctor? Find the murderer for us. Here's a task. Find the murderer for us. My brother Victor, who is in the wing next door, would share some of his thoughts on the matter. Help us, and the reward will not disappoint you. Indeed, it seems there are too many coincidences. Your brother's murder can just as well be called the murder of Bachelor Dankovsky. I will help you in every way I can. I'm convinced that if there is anyone at all that can help us solve this puzzle, then it is you. This mission calls for someone as astute and inventive as yourself. If Isidore was the instrument of fate, then Simon's murder is a message that fate intended it for you personally. Do not think I am inclined to blame you for that. I am not. How do you plan to look out for the murderer? We will take our own measures. The only thing I expect from you is to be yourself. Dankovsky's got a lot of personality. Do only what you think is required. Whatever you find out, whatever you do, whatever your day turns into, everything is a clue to the solution of this problem. I repeat, everything that is happening here is happening on your account. Wink, nudge, at the 4th wall. This might have well have killed my research. Yep, that's Dankovsky. You have my sympathy. Alright, so he's marked off Victor, the youngest of the 3 Kane brothers. The Kane family tree makes no sense, but it is sort of plot relevant. You can tell me more about Simon's manner of death, and then we still have to go see Maria, who is Victor's daughter. And okay, so we've come to see Simon, who's immortal, but we've shown up and he's been murdered. So now it's our job to solve his murder, because the powers that be, who are the government / inexplicable forces that govern the world of Pathologic, who are explained later on, but it's a spoiler, so I won't spoil it yet. But have basically told Dankovsky that he's better solve death in the next 2 weeks, or he's gonna be defunded / killed, perhaps. So basically, the highest stakes thesis, thesis defense that anyone has ever done. And here, Maria Cana, a woman after my own heart, loves some mood lighting. And
I often feel like
titty
it came from
Dress.
below the ground. For
Nipple
many years,
bangles.
we were bearing the bones.
Less
wrong.
after my own heart there. You resemble an adventurer rather than a doctor. Appearances can be deceiving. I saw you in a dream. Don't flatter yourself. My desires have nothing to do with that. I simply saw you take us all by the throat. What else do you see in that? Did you see in that dream? Show up at a woman's house and she's like, "I've been dreaming about you. I'll tell you when I think I can trust you." I hope that happens soon.
Oh, Mother. Why can't you be here with us?
Now listen closely. The time for collusion, secrets, and alliances has come. I'm going to ask something of you. I am not used to that. I'm used to holding the reins. But you are not harnessed, so it would be unacceptable to address you in this manner. I find solace in the fact that my request will be welcome with you. It fits your style of venture. I am not an adventurer, and my job is no venture. I hope it never becomes one. I apologize if my words come across as mangled and silly. I'm truly not used to asking. But the nature of my request demands complete and selfless humility. Just imagine me begging and kneeling, and believe me, I do feel that way. I'd kneel myself before a lady as charming as you. Today's death was the first, but it won't be the last. Simon has opened the score of irreplaceable films. I love how Maria's immediately like, "I'm not hitting on you, but..." But she's kind of like, listen, Dankovsky, I just really need you to understand. But, I think, Maria is an interesting, she definitely Dankovsky, she wants to add Dankovsky to her list of kind of possessions slash, some things that she, can have sway over. But given that he's a protagonist, he's got plot. He literally has, like, there's no strings, there's not the same kind of strings on him. Before any of them dies, there will be a moment when you will be able to intervene. I know that for a fact. Who are these people? That doesn't matter. What was destined to happen will happen. You can be whatever you want to be, but not a coward choosing to hear no evil and run away from reality. I will give you a list of those I know. These people are bound to you. What in the world is going on here? Are you trying to flirt with me? Yes, you haven't been told, have you? It didn't even cross my mind that someone may be unaware of my abilities. No one here dares doubt them, for they are evident. Yes, the mistress of every ruling house possesses special abilities. I'm learning to see the future and transform the present. Forgive me, but I don't believe in this type of phenomenon. Will you comply with my request? Will you save the lives of the people I name to you? Answer me, before going back to Eva. How did you know Eva asked me to come back? I know Eva. She wants to safeguard you from my nocturnal intrigues, doesn't she? She's, if you know what I mean. She strives to touch the mysteries of our family, to learn the game we're playing. Well, talk to her. Perhaps you two will manage to uncover some bits and pieces of the Kane's dark conspiracy against humanity. But you haven't given me an answer. What will it be? I will do as you ask, Maria. My honor bids me to. And you'd be better off not giving me cheek. You wouldn't like me when you won't like me when I'm angry? Jesus. Dankovsky, be nice challenge. Alright. So, she wants him to be your boy toy, but he's too busy metaphoring at Artemy. Truly. If you choose Artemy to play as Artemy, the Harrispecs, instead of Dankovsky, the other protagonists are still like in the game. They just interact as they have their plot lines and you just can't control them. But Dankovsky spends the whole of Artemy's route just sending him letters like, Artemy, come and see me. Artemy, I need you to do something for me. Artemy, this is crucially important. and just like the most like overwrought. I really love it. Whatever happens, these people must live. Their fates are bound to mine. They may well hold the keys to my victory in their hands. So these are the NPCs that we can't let die, or else we fail the game, basically. So, Georgie Kane, Victor Kane, love these photos, Andre Stamatin, Peter Stamatin, Maria Cana, who we just met, Eva Yan, who we met earlier, and Mark Immortel. Alright. Goodbye, Maria, and your weird nipple-bangle dress. We've got to leave and go seek our fortunes elsewhere. Creepy! Not to forget. Whoa, you're like my other hand. Yes, the homoeroticism between Artemy and Dankovsky is off the charts. This town is small and rather unexceptional, isn't it? These fellas are hanging around. But there are all kinds of people here. The simple folk and the more remarkable ones. The former will tell you more than they know. The latter know way more than they're ever going to let out. Keep a close eye on them. Your victory depends on it. Who are these remarkable people? There are 23 of them, easily distinguished by their lodgings or their presence. They're called many names: the bound, the fated, the adherents, the gobos tegeler, the town circle. Simon preferred their company to any other. Is that a sect or something? No. There used to be a pagan game called Tegeler, a rondelay of sorts. A Tegeler means a kin circle, and Gobo is a character from a local epic. And so the people that Simon was interested in, typo, in the most are called Gobos Tegeler. Some of them don't even know one another. How did Simon choose them? Because it is they that will decide the fate of this town. Don't be distracted by the fact that some of them look insignificant or disreputable. They will earn their worth. You just give them time. They're the most important joints of the town. Why are you telling me all this? Each day one of them will try death by the tooth. Each will put their life at risk. And each one that dies is important. Some of them may take the keys to victory to the grave. Mind that the keys are yours, while the grave is theirs. Others will do the opposite. Don't waste your chance to condemn someone who may get in your way. That's bad advice. How do you know what is helpful and what gets in the way? Okay, alright, dropping you more hints would be cheating. Shutting up now. Allow me to conclude then. Each bound you save will influence the finale of your adventure. Each of them has their own goals and motives. It may so happen that those who seek a different ending survive, and then, well, you've been warned. Okay, I'll take that into account, and we'll be careful. Thank you, tutorial man. And this fellow. There is something in particular we feel the urge to warn you about. Oh, yeah, Gawain, are you playing with a guide? Or, I am not. I probably will pull up a guide eventually. I've played this, I actually haven't played through this game myself before, but I've watched playthroughs. And I played a bit of the beginning, but I've watched Sulmatul's playthrough. Sulmatul's really cool. She has a playthrough on YouTube, and that's where that's what first got me into Pathologic after I watched H. Bomber Guy's video about it. So I remember that playthrough, and I'll probably be looking up a guide once I get to the thornier parts of this game. There's something in particular we feel the urge to warn you about. When you speak to the bound, please choose your words carefully. Oh yeah, this is your choices. They have consequences. Some of them are indeed worth insulting, whereas others need to be treated with utmost respect. If I ever engage in conversations with someone, it won't be for personal gain. Each conversation will bring you a small profit, depending on the outcome, of course. How small a profit? Never refuse to take small sums of money from the bound. That would not belittle you in any fashion, but would rather demonstrate that you appreciate the local customs. Alright, I'll keep the local customs in mind. Something, that's what the point of a mask is. Yes, can't believe you just eviscerated all the tragedians. These little fuckers. Alright, we are burning daylight hours here, if you can call this daylight. We've got things to do. We've got a list of tasks. We are forgetting which keys. Hello, Angel! Hi, welcome to the stream. We are in a Russian small town on the not quite Russian steppe, and we are being told lots of words by people, and I am forgetting which button pulls out my inventory. Alright, so it's 7 a.m. on day 1. I'm saving the game because I just realized I hadn't saved yet. And we still have to see, still have to talk to Victor. And then we'll go back and talk to Eva. Eva Yan, my love. My favorite Pathologic character. I have like a half-finished, oh there, okay, that's where we're at. I have a half-finished Eva, Pathologic 1 Eva cosplay that I have the top, I have part of it, I have most of it sewn, and I just need to finish like the very last bits of it. Nope, this is Georgie's house, this isn't Victor's house. But it has been in my to-do, like my sewing pile for a good several months, and I just need to bite the bullet and finish the skirt. But I really I love the weird textures and the vibe of Pathologic Classic characters, and so I spend a lot of time like looking at textiles and like on like Spoonflower and like trying to find like something that would look as like weird and blurry and like visually strange as the way that the clothes in this game look.
Perhaps old Gimsky is setting a trap for this newly arrived Haruspect.
It's really cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I do work in costume design when I can get the work. So I think a lot about costumes and clothes and the ways that they sort of shape our view of characters, and also how you go about making them and putting them in the world. The famous Dr. Dankovsky, your arrival is a great honor for us. Victor Kane, at your service. Victor Kane, you've really got some bangs happening. Daniil Dankovsky, at yours. I foresee that things have become ordinary. I foresee that the things that have become ordinary for us will probably make you feel uncomfortable and disturbed. I would like to compensate for that impression. You know, our small community has fallen out of the loop. Time leaves us behind. What do you mean? I mean that traditions, games that we play with a passion, will most likely be of no interest to you. The people you meet here may seem eccentric, naive, or even somewhat deranged. Please, take it easy on us. Don't judge us too strictly. I hope we will be able to work in the atmosphere of mutual trust. Dankovsky, trust requires respect, and Dankovsky has a problem with that part. A lot of the time, anyways. How can I help you? Georgie has told me everything, which is to say he has told me very little, but it was enough to astound me. He maintains that you can provide a more detailed account. So you have agreed to help us? I have. May I ask why? The killer's goals seem to align astonishingly well with the goals of those who've been waging war against my work for years. I'm prepared to answer any questions you may have. When was Simon last seen? We sent Isidore home. Then an hour later, he came to this hall to see us. He announced his plans to withdraw to the Focus and receive no one. He was told not to approach the Focus. He told us not to approach the Focus and to fast for a week, partaking of neither meat nor water. Then in the morning, he was found dead. This guy's eyes, though. Why no meat or water? Our explanation is that he wanted to be mourned beforehand, as is the custom with the local people. This is very like him. So he knew in advance that he would die? I think, between me and you, that this is precisely what my brother Georgie fears. I can say nothing more about that. How was the body discovered? Dankovsky has so many problems. He does. He's just, literally, he shows up in town and everyone is like,
hello, would you like to solve my problems for me? Which is the plight of a pathologic protagonist. And then he's like, yes, I would like to solve your problems, and I'd also like to create some more. His list of things to work on in therapy has got to be miles long, not that he'd ever admit it. Literally, just like the way he even, like the way the dialogue is, like you have some, you can control how rude Dankovsky is to a certain degree, but you can never make Dankovsky a not rude person. And I love that from a writing perspective, and the man's got some serious problems going on. His eyes freak me out. He's just squinting angrily. Yeah, pathologic character model. Everyone's just like... The servants discovered him in the morning. The room had been ransacked. Everything that was breakable had been broken. His disfigured, contorted body bore signs of terrible suffering. His neck was twisted, his spine broken, I think. No one has touched the body. It is currently inside the focus, and will remain there for the prescribed amount of time. Do you suspect anyone? No. All I know is that Isidore was with him that evening. No one can enter the focus against Simon's will. Well, perhaps a higher being could, but no one else. I mean, like, maybe God, but... like an angel of death or something? Yes, something like that. I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic. If you are, then allow me to say that I do not share your feelings. I apologize. How did Simon get himself in there? He could perform far more impressive feats. There's a reason why the whole town revered him. All right. So, oh no, wait. Tell me honestly, dear Victor, did Simon exist at all? Bravo, Doctor! There is indeed a spark of genius to you. Alas, yes. Yes, he did. Alas? It's not that I would benefit from his death. Alas, for that would be too simple an explanation. Simon well and truly did exist. That is exactly what's left everyone in disarray. It was hard for them to accept his existence. It was so hard for him to accept his existence that the thought of his demise is now driving them mad. Fair enough. What do you want from me, then? Just take a look around. Trust your intuition. Do whatever you like. Speak to whoever you feel the need to. Look for the murderer or doctor, and you will find them. Keep looking until the last breath. I'm sure your rational thinking will help you. Alright, who among the townsfolk can help me with this? Give me some names. My daughter will advise you better there. Her name is Maria. For several days she's been obsessed with some design that is somehow related to your rival. Yes, don't be surprised. She knew beforehand that you were coming. I'll find explanations for everything that's going on, eventually. Really? That's good. Anyway. Pat. Anyway, Maria believes that several bound... Well, Dankovsky is just the Kane's little, like... They just toss him around from person to person and are so condescending to him. Anyway, Maria believes that several bound people will play a special role in your fate. Before you leave this place, of course. Perhaps it is from them you should ask for help first. First, I'll seek help from my dear colleague, Isidore Burak. Where does he live? I'll show you, but you must be careful. Simon's murderer, whoever they are, could not be an ordinary person. I can't imagine them even being a person. I fear it could only be fate, wearing the guise of a mysterious monster. It's funny because Georgie, who I just talked to, was quite dismissive of fate. The Kane's special little man. He is! He's their special little man. He's their little protagonist. He's their instrument. I don't believe in fate. Alright, we gotta go talk to Isidore Burak. Their little meow meow, yes. Dankovsky is also my little meow meow. I think he is the poorest of meow meows. He's just such a pathetic little man, and everything that he ever wants goes badly. And even in the win conditions, he's just never really achieves. Spoilers, never really achieves much of anything. Or he achieves a lot, but you get the sense that, what the fuck is this? Really a statue. You get the sense that everything that he achieves ultimately won't bring him any happiness or satisfaction. He's just really good at being a pawn. Their darling little lad. He's scrunkly. Yes, I want to scrunkle. I just want to scrunkle Dankovsky. By which I mean, I just want to make him get a haircut. And evaluate his life choices. He gets what he wants, but he never gets what he wants. Exactly. Alright, so, do we still have more? Okay. We have more conversations to have. Eventually we will leave the Cain's circle. It's a really good thing that dialogue stops when you're talking to people, because people have a lot of goddamn things to say.
The Saburov's wait is over. They've always wanted an heir.
I'm gonna, let me know how this is working, because my sort of idea was that I'd read through all the dialogue, but it does become quite a longer game when you're reading everything out loud. I really enjoy the dialogue, but it will make the playthrough longer. We, the Cains, have always been out of touch with mundane reality, but we're driven by love. Love can be furious, funny, and blind, but there's never a need to make excuses for it, is there? What a Tinder bio. What exactly did you see in that dream of yours? The one that had to do with me? A truly terrifying battle is ahead of you. If no one has ever told you about your fate, I will be the first. You must know that I admire you in advance, regardless of the outcome. You will fight a foe that few can defeat. Oh, Maria. It's like such a... I admire you in advance. Regardless of the outcome is actually like kind of an intense statement of affection. Is this a prophecy? Or no, regardless of the outcome? Dankovsky is such an outcome-focused man. Fellow. You will clash with your foe like a dragon slayer, but your weapon will turn against you. Striking at the heart, you will end up with your own flesh torn. Every drop of blood you squeeze out of that heart will turn into a gulp of yours. If your foe escapes you, penetrates you, or saddles you, you will hear malicious laughter in your ears. My crestfallen weeping. So it's about the murderer. Well, I will make them regret your tears, whoever they are. Alright. It's totally about the murderer, Dankovsky. 100%. You're gonna have a straightforward foe you can fight with your stupid little gun and your, suboptimal fighting skills. Okay. Okay, so I think we've talked to the Cains. Let's go back and check in with Eva. Recognize the gay energy, Maria. Get better taste, Maria. Stop flirting with Daniil, Maria. We have some opinions happening in the chat. I'm here for all of them. Really, every facet of that is something she should realize. Thank you for your support in dialogue reading. I really like the dialogue, so I'm going to keep reading it out loud. It also helps me with my amateur dramatics. Helps me, I love a fun little monologue to read. Okay, we're going to go back and check in with Eva, and then we're going to go see Isidore Barak, who is Artemy's dad. And he is the local... Can you run? No, you can't sprint in Pathologic Classic. You can only plod slowly. Gawain Villain Arc, Pog? Yes, Gawain Villain Arc. That would be so much fun. I have so much monologue, so much evil in me. So much play evil in me. Villain Arc. It's happening, you heard it here. Let's talk to this man. And these are the generic NPCs. And dialogue the time does not pause in their dialogue, I think. Anything I can do for you? I'd be much obliged if you help me learn how to get around the town. There's more than just one town here. The first is called the Bull Project. The second one, the offspring of the project, is the districts. I mean the residential part itself. Not so long ago, the town also dropped anchor across the river, but I wouldn't go so far as to call that part a district, too. It's just the polyhedron. Tell me about the Bull Project. It's the industrial base of the town. The station, the warehouses, the works, and the abattoir all belong to it. I wouldn't recommend going there. It's not an appropriate place for a person from the capital. It's filthy there, and the stench... I'd say it's not an appropriate place for anyone at all. I didn't think about going there anyway. Say, how come such a tiny town is divided into districts? Well, it just sort of came to be that way. The Gullet and the Guzzle, the Gorkon's tributaries, divide the town into 3 parts. Each of them consist of many separate courtyards, so maybe that's the reason. I see. Well, here's to hoping none of it comes up today. Wait, sir, trade with me. Is trading open yet? Warehouses in the district, too. It is, but there's not much to tell about. It consists of 2 parts. The first part is where everything that the town exports is stored. Meat, sausage, ham, bone meal, so on. The other is stores various hardwares, and also the manufactured goods that the regular train delivers. How do I get there? That's in the knots. It's the southernmost part, to be precise, the east of the station. The meat warehouses are the ones closest to the station. The hardware ones are closer to the town. There's a railroad track running between them. Thank you. There's a lot, another core theme of Pathologic, which is all about, it's about disease, but, in kind of philosophical ways, or metaphorical ways. But it's also a lot about industrialization and the ongoing, both like the abuse that industrialization puts upon, workers, and also the conflict between the sort of esoteric and incorporeal, like, philosophy and industrial and sort of magic almost, and industrialization and the ongoing, like, march of, like, industrialization and science and that sort of thing, and then also in sort of tandem to that, they've disguised the awful draw distance in this game by lore justifying the fact that it's pollen season. There's so much pollen in the air, the twire, and they've justified the fact that it's a survival game and you die if your hunger goes to 0 by saying it's twire season. Goes to your head. That's what pollen does to me too. Oh yes, trash bins. Trash bins, my beloved. Yes. Key. Love to wander. So how are you all? How is everyone today? How are you doing? Did anything exciting happen today? Have anything not exciting happen today? When all else fails, blame it on the twire. every piece of lore. Literally how every piece of lore in this game works. Man, IDK, time is an illusion. Yeah, true. Very, very true. Waiting for Nano. Writing for Nano. Oh my god! Are you doing National Novel Writing Month? I am too! What are you working on? Tell me about it. Good. Nothing happened today. That's a good. That's a good. Sometimes it's good when nothing happens. I really have to figure out how to get into Isidore Barak's house. Oh my gosh, I really cannot access that. Isidore Barak, where's the door to your house? Oh my god. This is really... I recall the Pathologic 2 also having this problem where I really, god damn, man. Oh my god, I'm literally... Okay, this is where Isidore lives. Start streaming Pathologic. Completely cannot even find Isidore Barak's fucking door. If you like Hades Town, you should make sure to listen to all the different versions, because they're all really good but meaningfully different. Oh yeah, because it's is it a Dave Malloy musical? It went through it went through like a workshop iteration and an off-Broadway and an on-Broadway. It's not a Dave Malloy. Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Oh, Aeneas Mitchell! I love her folk song. I love her iterations of like child ballad and stuff like that. God. Okay, this is the building. I'm wasting so much time in game, like just not being able to find the door. It's a concept album, then a live album, and then a new one. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I really do have to sit down and listen to it. I love that genre of music. I love folk music and like traditional ballads and hymns, or not hymns, but yeah, like folk ballads and such so much. This is really death and destruction. This truly is his house. Oh, maybe it's just this. Let's see what's up. No, that's locked. That's not his door. Can I, like, not get in yet? What is going on? Dankovsky cringe. Oh my god, here's this door. I was just only looking at 3 sides of the house. I am so silly. Literally, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're gonna get somewhere. We're getting somewhere. A foul murder occurred here last night. No unauthorized access allowed. I think I just spent like 15 minutes on that door. Inspecting the crime scene is strictly forbidden until further notice. Is this a bad dream or something? Can someone wake me up, please? Whoever killed our only doc must surely be looking to get us killed. Isidore could cure anything. He also knew how to make cuts or incisions, because he was a warden. He knew all of his lines, right? Like I said, it all makes sense. Whoever killed Simon took Isidore's life, and this is merely the beginning. Only the beginning? What makes you so sure? So there's been, not just only one, but 2 murders in town on Gorkin today. See, this murderous steel is all mysterious. There was a talon stuck in the victim's chest. Go ahead and bend your arm at the elbow, good sir. Yeah, like that. There you go. That's how long it was. It broke off. There was dust on the floor, for the deceased had been a renowned step walker. And the dust was all covered in hoof steps and like traces of sharp bone, I guess. As if someone was using a walking stick round there. I'm telling you, it's her. The Shabnakadir, the clay man-eater. I want to inspect the building? Man's getting some lore. I adore that. True gamers kick the door open upon reaching everyone's entrance. Yes. I know how to make cuts or incisions. Step 1, knife. Step 2, stab. Step 3, profit. Exactly. You got it down. We got lots of experts in the building. Also, hi, Nathan. We've been assigned to this post by Alexander, the head of the Saburov family. His house is in decline right now, but it's still powerful. So the Saburovs, the Canes are who we were talking to earlier, is one of the 3 like powerful like families, like sort of the aristocracy of the town. The Saburovs are the second. His house is in decline right now, but it's still powerful and very much respected, for it is they who've been responsible for maintaining worldly order and public safety in the town since olden days. Please kindly address your concerns to him. That's their rod. That's the name of their house. That's their rod. You just take up the road up there and get to the cape. As for me, I'm not authorized to let you in. Well, you should have said that from the start. Alright, we gotta go consult the Saburovs and their rod. They're the cops. The lawmakers of the town. Fucked up men. They are like the authoritarians of the Canes do wild magic / science. The Saburovs are cops. They deserve to live in a building called the Rod. True. They're really Alexander Saburov is Alexander Saburov? Yeah, Alexander Saburov is like a miserable little bastard. It's a miserable little bastard. I keep thinking you're saying Sephiroth and getting confused. Oh my god. That would be, if Sephiroth were in Pathologic, he would find himself right at home in ways, I think. I don't know. I've only played the remake of Final Fantasy, and he's only in it a little bit. So mostly I know him by reputation, but I admire his character design, and that's what I think of Sephiroth. It would be a very different game. I think he would solve many more problems by actually stabbing people. There are some problems you can solve in this game by stabbing people, but they're few and far between. And that would be frustrating for the fellow, I think. August, I'm so curious. Since you've played, if you are amenable, I'm so curious. Since you've played Pathologic before, who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite protagonist and an NPC? And anyone else who has any knowledge of Pathologic? We have Alexander. Here's Alexander. Alexander Savarov.
They say hitting hard is a good enough start.
The head cop of Town on Gorkon. So and the sort of beleaguered mayor as well. So I finally get to see you. Yes, you really do look like a messenger of sorrowful times. Oof. In any case, welcome to the Rod. Our meeting is quite significant in a way. Facing challenges with open eyes and taking their first blow is my duty. Wow. Do you think we're on the verge of an especially unhappy era? Oof. Me playing this in December 2019. No grim events have clouded our existence since last summer. The country has cured its war wounds. Commercial communications have been repaired. Astrologists expect nothing ill. Do you hold astrologists' opinions in high regard? Sometimes I have. Are you an astrologist? Big fan of the character that makes no sense until you know the game backwards and forwards in the full generality. Big fan of character that makes... Yes. In Pathologic, that is so many of the characters. To varying degrees. They all sort of operate on a pie chart of characters that make sense in the surface of the plot, and characters that only make sense once you know all of its secrets. I am a ruler. Astrology can be very curious, but I cannot allow it to influence my decisions. That's solid. I have to act according to the factual circumstances. Would you agree? Definitely.
The outcome was to be expected, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. Favorite protagonist is Artemy. Favorite NPCs are Notkin, Aglaia, and the Stamatans. Yes! Oh my gosh, good taste. I also, my favorite protagonist is probably Dankovsky. Honestly, all three of them are so great. I like Dankovsky for his pathetic little manness, but I also really like Artemy. Is Artemy is so lovable. And yes, all of those NPCs are really fun, but I'm so excited to get to the Stamatans because they're so interesting. They really make me feel a lot of things. Every time I see Mark, I feel so much rage. Yeah, he's horrible. So you've come to meet with Simon, haven't you? What can I do for you now? I was actually invited by Isidore, so I came to meet with him first and foremost. But now it turns out that actually, nothing, not anymore. Why are you giving me that look as if Simon's death was my fault? No, I'm gonna say this about Isidore. He's been murdered, yes. Looks like the murderer is always one step ahead of you, doesn't it? The same one that took Simon's life, too. At least that's the conclusion suggested by the information at my disposal. Same pattern. Same signature. So, who did it? You wouldn't believe it. His own son. That fellow came back after being away for quite a while. His father had sent him to study surgery when he was but a greenhorn. Quite a lot he has learned, huh? A wandering scholar turned evil to the bone. All of that just to grab the inheritance. Wait, how did you figure that out? In all honesty, it's hard to explain to an outsider like you. Do you believe in such a thing as clairvoyance, Bachelor? Of course I do. Well, you should get to know my wife then. Or better yet, those who have already had the opportunity to witness the power of her prophecies. We got multiple multiple seeresses out here. Multiple women who say they can see the future. Former doubters first and foremost. Rationalists. She's got something to say to you too, by the way. Of course she does. And just in general, I'm a big fan of Daniil / Artemis because I think it is funny and also sad. Me too. Oh my god. Daniil, like the Daniil and Artemis relationship is so, like, they are never going to agree. They're like such opposites, and it's so they're so like diametrically opposed, but also like they have a lot in common, and I'm really fascinated by that. So your wife called out Isidore's son specifically. Not specifically, no. Buddy, you came into this conversation being like, I know who the murderer is. It's this guy's son. My wife saw it because she can see the future. And now you're like, well, maybe. But it all adds up. And the circumstances of Simon's death make you wonder, too. Isidore's son arrived here last night. The timing speaks against him. It even matches to the time it takes to get from the Crucible to Isidore's house. That's not enough. I'll have to take the investigation into my own hands. Is there anyone who could be of help to me? Apart from your wife. There are a few good analysts in our town. Everyone is more or less superstitious here. Except for one Yulia Yuricheva, perhaps. A most level-headed and reasonable person. Another one of my favorite NPCs. The only person to remain skeptical about Katerina's talents, too. Without a shadow of a doubt. She has her own picture events. She always does. Oh, exactly the person I need. So he's marked off Yulia on our map. Yulia, my favorite canonical lesbian.
That's okay, I'll make it. I'm made of wood.
Do you have any weapons? No, I've just finished distributing the remaining weapons to patrolmen sent to the Bone Stake lot. Rumor has it, something's brewing there. The rabble are trying to catch some man-eater, all agog. But even if I had weapons, I wouldn't give any to you. Why in the world should I? Where can I get weapons around here? No one in the town owns real weapons. What little they have is old, refitted, makeshift, and mostly non-functional, too. I doubt anyone in town would dare fire a shot without my permission. Nothing of the sort has happened in a few years. So where did your men go? The Bone Stake lot is located somewhere among the back alleys, right in the middle of Earth. Between the Tanners and the Skinners district. It used to be a huge dump. Before that, the mob had used it for their barbaric gatherings. Oof. Some time ago, they reclaimed the dump and revived the tradition. Is that the best description you can offer? It won't be an easy place to find. You want to see the man-eater too? Don't. Those are just dirty rumors, most likely. Or you'll find some poor victim of a frenzied mob there. That's what the patrolmen are for. As for a better description, you can look for the huge upright boulder standing there since the beginning of the time. A Neolithic artifact. I see, my thanks to you. Oof. Yeah, there's also a lot of, the underlying thing in the whole plot about the kin or the indigenous steppe people and the town is that there's a lot of racism. And a lot of discrimination against the kin and their practices and their way of life. I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Have a good rest of your stream. Thank you so much for coming. Have a good night. Thank you. I am probably going to stream, it's getting late here as well. I am probably going to go and talk to Yulia. And maybe swing around to see if Eva's quest has popped up. But, probably gonna talk to Yulia and then call it a day. For tonight, because it is going for almost 2 hours. And eventually I have to eat something and go to bed. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Excuse me, do you have anything? We know all about you. Aren't you a lively gal? Shall we barter, perhaps? Dankovsky, who knows how to talk to children. Have anything? Oh, you don't have anything. Never mind. Don't want to barter with you. You don't have any objects. Making our way through the town. Walking at a moderate pace. Oh, no, that's the wrong way to go. I am a fool. Yeah, there's a lot, one of my favorite things about Pathologic is, and sort of like something that struck me when I first encountered it, that trash bin is already empty. Something that struck me when I first got into it, is there's a lot of, I went the wrong way again. There's a lot of depth in the female characters. There's a lot of depth in all the characters, but the women in this game are written, it doesn't lack in misogyny. There's definitely, like, misogyny happening, and there's also, like, I said, like Yulia is, in my interpretation of the text anyway, like, canonically gay, but that's not something that's presented without, like, a lack of homophobia. But, like, there's just so many women in this game who have, like, complex, like, philosophies and are, like, allowed to have complex philosophies and feelings and just, like, agency in a way that, like, really surprises me from just video games in general, like, kind of sadly, but, like, also surprised me in a game that's, like, this old. Because, like, the standards of writing women in games, I feel like, was quite bad for a long time, and not, like, across the board. And this is, like, a very, like, text-heavy, story-heavy game. And there certainly is aspects of misogyny, and there's a lot of, like, there's uncomfortable things in this game. There's a lot of, like, which are sort of mostly, like, undertones, but there's things that I have issue with. But, just, like, the fact that all the characters are so well-rounded is something that I value a lot. Okay, let's find Yulia. Another crazy house. Okay, hello.
This girl is a changeling. She's not the murderer.
I seem to have lost any capacity for observation. My mind is out of tune. Things no longer add up. Before, I had no trouble forming a trustworthy tessellation out of the most imperceptible contingencies. Now, trustworthy tessellation, huh? Now, I simply cannot get my head around it. Could it be that I am dying? Yeah, that's where my thoughts would go to. It happens when people are tired. You probably haven't slept for a while, have you? Dankovsky's like, can you take a fucking nap? Oh no, Herbia Tvirinae is in blossom, I grant you. But then it blooms every year. Every year the steppe is filled with its stupefying vapors. The issue I am having, however, has nothing to do with fatigue or perplexity. It's just that I've lost my ability to make distinctive events coincide. Everyone has that ability. You don't seem to understand what I'm saying. Let me elucidate. A single word someone utters may precipitate the birth of their own murderer. This line of philosophizing is barely an intellectual novelty, and is particularly relevant in our neck of the woods. I sometimes feel like I could touch the notions of cause and effect with the tips of my fingers. But now I'm being tedious, I reckon. I'm sorry to say, but yes, you are a bit tedious. Not at all, Yulia.
I'm afraid I'm of little use now.
So you have traveled all the way here just only to find that both people you wanted to see were brutally murdered? Is this how the story goes? I do hope your visit is not anywhere related to these most unfortunate circumstances. Do you like Eva Yan? Completely forsake everything else. Hey, what's up? I have to find whoever it is that killed Isidore and Simon, and I wanted to ask for your help. Sabarov told me you have a gift for all manner of investigative inquiry. I am certainly no better investigator than you. I've never had a chance to search for a murderer before. The best I can offer is to fill in the blanks with whatever mysterious and supernatural entities seem most fitting. Shabnakadir is the simple man's scarecrow. I would have followed a different narrative. Not even close to as bad as the Canes don't even worry about being tedious. Truly. They really are just like, hello, I would like to
deliver paragraphs and paragraphs about my philosophy, and with no self-awareness. What's the word you just said? Shabnakadir, you mean? The steppe demonology describes it as a kind of golem, belched up by the earth to punish all manner of delinquency. It is shaped as a young woman, but made of clay and exhumed bone matter. An unnerving concept, is it not? I've always suspected that primitive worldviews still exist in remote corners of our country, but I couldn't imagine that they would be so active. Oof, Dankovsky. I knew you would be exasperated by this discussion. Sacrifices, bovine tails, handfuls of milk teeth in a glass beaker. You may forgive this to children and steppe people, yet having the same notions reiterated by someone surrounded by books on natural history, this must be quite vexing. How would you explain this? The answer is bound to irritate you even more. The tales are true. And the sooner you get this through your head, Dankovsky, the better time you will have. Bah, you're joking, of course. I do hyperbolize a little. It is beyond a debate that the Shabnakadir exists. What is dubious, though, is that bovine tails and milk teeth offer genuine protection from her, which is to say, sympathetic contrivances like this may be of some use to children and people from the steppe, but they are explicitly they're explicitly not helpful for someone like you and me. We are too literate, too deprived of the scripture codified in ancient soil. I think she's saying something about, or one thing that she might be saying is that people like her and Dankovsky, which is like academics, because they're primed not to believe in the folk traditions, because they're primed not to believe in the things that are supposed to keep away the Shabnakadir and other sort of bad things and like ghosts and spirits and monsters, it just won't work for them. Which is interesting when like set up against the other routes the story can take. For crying out loud, Yulia, you are a mystic. Saburov is mocking me. We have no choice but to acknowledge the rules enforced by the steppe. We try to ignore these rules, to place ourselves into the framework of an advanced modernity, to no avail. You can call these demons what you want. You may refer to the hair-eater as time, if this will make you any happier. I am comfortable with a more juvenile vernacular. It is what I'm used to. You were repeating something that Isidore once told me, almost word for word. By the way, I find his murder far more infuriating than Simon's. Alright, let me suggest then that while he was in the steppe, he, being Isidore, saw or learned something he wanted to report to all three ruling families. In this case, either of the Olgimsky family should have been on his itinerary, especially since Burak was one of their own men. Really? Definitely. The Bull Project, from the abattoir to the railway, is controlled by the Olgimsky family. If Isidore's discovery had anything at all to do with the kin, Isidore would certainly have related to Vlad. So do make sure to pay a visit to the lump. That's the name of the Olgimsky mansion. Another fitting name, wouldn't you agree? We're just naming buildings words here. Thank you, Yulia. What would I do without you? Ah, yes, that's certainly a building shape. Alright, now, gotta ask, before we go, do you like Eva Yan? Very much. It wouldn't be much of a stress to say that I absolutely admire her. Yes, same here. What did she say?
I'm afraid
you
it's
can't say
natural.
it again, okay.
Simon was doomed.
Alright. Eva and Yulia have a little, implications of a love story, or the underpinnings of something throughout the narrative that I think are very fun. Though Eva is also entangled with Dankovsky in ways, maybe, depending on how you read things. Alright, so far we've come to the steppe. We have encountered the man we were sent to find was murdered. The man we were sent to find about his murder was also murdered, and now we're being passed between members of the community who think that they can help in some way, shape, or form. So before we follow this rabbit hole further, I think I'm going to save game, and
stop off there for the evening. I'll probably continue this either, I think I might stream this Tuesday, but depending on other stuff, I'm not sure if I'll stream more Pathologic, but I'm definitely going to stream more Pathologic next Sunday. So if you've been enjoying this so far, tune back in. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's been so much fun chatting with y'all. I'm really, like, this is my first stream, and you've really made it, like, fantastic. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening, night, and I hope you have great rest of your day, and a good day tomorrow. And I'll see you again sometime. Bye!